and they posted what was supposed to be a hype video of Tua throwing to his newest wide receiver, Tyreek Hill. Unfortunately, the video has been met with a lot of criticism. People immediately started pointing out that the ball appears to be underthrown, but former quarterback Kurt Warner was quick to come to the defense of Tua. He tweeted, "I played many years of professional football, and as much as I hate to admit it, I underthrew deep passes a number of times in practice." There, I said it. Good to get that off my chest. Now, I think Warner was just being nice here. We've seen what Tua can do in a game. That has always been something of a concern. This is also going to be a little bit of a wake-up call for Tyreek Hill. He is going from one of the most unique and special quarterbacks in the league in Patrick Mahomes to Tua. And I don't know if he's kind of getting a wake-up call in these little, practices, camps that they're having. But it's going to be an adjustment. It is not going to be the same thing, that same connection, that same special magic that he had in Kansas City.
Well, it's
telling.
It's the Magic City, and he's getting paid a lot of money to be there. So, this is the next phase of your career. When you're Tyreek Hill, you make a lot of money, and you are the number one guy, and you get paid as such. And there's concessions that you make in that situation, which is Patrick Mahomes and Tua are not the same guy.
No.
I've had lots of questions about Tua. I'm excited that he's going to get a whole year starting, and there's no one lingering, and there's no trade talks, and we can finally see what Tua is. You've got Tyreek Hill, you've got an offensive coach, you've got an upgraded offensive line, you've got lots of other pieces and receivers and tight ends, and the defense is good. They've completely done everything that they can to put everything that Tua would need to be successful, and we'll see if he is. I don't make too much of practice highlights, good or bad. They're fun, they're good for social media. Yes, that was underthrown. If that was a game, he would get picked. But it's not a game, and he doesn't need to throw his arm out to get it to Tyreek Hill on a practice field. People like to pick on these practice videos. I don't have time. I have other stuff to do. But I'm not going to get excited about this. I care when it's on the field. Whatever. If I sound like an elitist, it's just the facts. Like, this is a practice video. Obviously, their team is going to post it as a highlight. It's exciting. People want to see Tua connecting with Tyreek Hill. Everybody relax. We're going to find out what Tua is. Do not worry. We are going to get a full season of opportunity to see if Tua is the guy in Miami, and we will find out who was right and who was wrong. And this is the year. Like, he's been there 3 years. This is his third year. He has a full opportunity to be the starter. I think he did an amazing job handling everything with Deshaun Watson last year, which was complete nonsense. Anyone else would have flipped out. I certainly would have. So I think he did an amazing job with that. He should have been starting from day one. And Miami did a fantastic job to derail everything that Tua could have possibly been. So this is the year. We'll find out. He's got everything he needs. I'm not freaking out over a practice video, though.
All right.
That's Alex Curran with the news. Yes, they are.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
One of the more disappointing seasons in Lakers history, and obviously, people get a little upset that we give the Lakers any time considering how dysfunctional they are and the fact that they're not in the playoffs. But it's still LeBron James, and it's a big deal, and the Lakers are a big deal. And we're in the midst of their very important offseason in trying to find a new coach and deciding what they're going to do with this lineup, which obviously does not work. And Jeannie Buss did an interview with Bill Plaschke this week where she talked about her responsibility as an owner and some of the people that she is going to be getting advice from. And Phil Jackson is one of those people. And obviously Phil knows, has forgotten more about basketball than I'll ever know. But that doesn't mean that he is the right person to make a decision for the Lakers at this point. And Bill Plaschke had some interesting insight into Phil Jackson's thinking for the Lakers' future.
I've heard that Phil would like LeBron traded. I've just heard that. But I've got nothing to back that up. No on-the-record stuff to back that up. But I think Phil, I do know that Phil would like them to keep Westbrook and try to make it work with him.
So I don't know how Lakers fans as a whole feel when they hear that. I will speak as a non-Lakers fan. I don't think that's a good idea. But for multiple reasons here. So, starting with the fact that I don't even want really Phil's opinion getting out. Phil does not work for the Los Angeles Lakers. He is not the GM of the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously, Phil has deep roots with this team. But because you were once a part of something does not mean that you should have any sort of heavy weights in a decision of this magnitude. And here's the next problem that just happened with this speculation even getting out. If they do, for whatever reason, trade LeBron James, Phil Jackson is now going to be the person that is blamed or is going to hold responsibility for that decision, even if it wasn't his decision. And this is what happens when you have too many chefs in the kitchen. There's too many opinions being weighed here. Every friend does not need to have an opinion. When you're in a serious relationship, there's a pretty understood rule if you want to have success in that relationship. You can't get advice from too many people, and everybody can't know your problems. What happens when you start doing that? As soon as you start telling this friend and your mom and your aunts and your cousin and their friends, oh, we're going through this, we're going through that. Well, now everybody knows and everyone has an opinion. And when it doesn't work, no one's going to take responsibility for it not working, but everyone's going to have a say in what happens. You can't have this many people giving an opinion. And from the outside looking in, my perspective on it is that this is unethical. Phil's not responsible for anybody in that building. He's making choices, or not choices, but he's giving strong opinions to the owner of the team, in Jeannie Buss, who has a very long-standing relationship with, a very serious relationship with, about people and their future that he does not have to answer to. He doesn't work for the Lakers. It's one thing to get a passerby opinion. Hey, what do you think about this player? You think he fits what we do? You think his personality fits our culture? What do you think about this coach? You think his style will work with the players we have? That's one thing. But to talk about adjusting your roster at the level of trading LeBron James and keeping Russell Westbrook, whether this is true or not, the speculation of it even getting out is so dangerous, and the implications of what could happen from that are catastrophic. There should not be this many people giving opinions about the Lakers. One person, the GM, should be making these decisions with the consultation of Jeannie Buss, who should not be making basketball decisions, which she has said she doesn't want to make basketball decisions. She makes business decisions. She is the final say. You ask Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka makes the decision. Whatever happens, happens, and then you know who to hold responsible for what's gone on with the Lakers. Magic Johnson, Phil Jackson, the Rambuses, other advisors, LeBron, Clutch. How many people have to and it's not even, we're not even hearing about Rob Pelinka. How many people have to weigh in on this situation? I just think it's insane. I think it is really, really a crazy way of doing things. You cannot have this many people weighing in at this level on what's going on with the future of the Lakers. Trade LeBron James? Even if this wasn't Phil's idea, like the fact that it's out now, are we supposed to hold Phil Jackson responsible if LeBron James is not with the Lakers anymore? He doesn't even work for the Lakers. I don't know. Let's get to Natalie Egedolf, 76ers reporter. Also covered the Raptors for 3 seasons as well. Kelsey, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm sure you are exhausted after what was a wild night there in Memphis. Okay, so let's start with this. Steph had a little comment. It's been a very chippy series, a lot of trash talk exchange, some serious moments, and obviously we'll talk about Ja in a moment. But Steph had a little jab before the game, saying they were going to whoop that trick. And it did not happen. The opposite happened, in fact, at the highest level. Did you guys hear about that before the game? Like, did the players hear about that before the game?
So we talked to the players after the game, obviously, because that happened after media availabilities with the Grizzlies. And some of the guys, I would say most of the guys, other than Dylan Brooks, who doesn't go on social media, said that they did see it. But they also were very kind of close to their chest, coy about it, because, after the game, they know that they still have to win game 6. They still need to win a game 7. So they didn't want to go too high or too low. But I would be surprised if that didn't motivate them a little, because all season long, Joy, we have seen that these guys take things personally. They're all, 21, 22, 23 years old. So they use that chip on their shoulder, and they're always kind of looking for what can motivate us. And they've used that literally since the beginning of the season. They'll see one thing. It goes back to Ja. Was it last year or the year before, where someone had tweeted at Ja and said, hey, Ja doesn't look like he has it anymore. And then he had a huge game and referenced it in his post-game interview. That is just the culture that this team has. They're looking for ways to motivate themselves. So I would be very surprised if Steph putting their own words against them didn't motivate them a little extra yesterday.
That's fine. I like that. Whatever other, extra motivation that you can find to get up. Obviously, they're going to bring it every night, but if you want to put a little extra spice and seasoning on it, I'm cool with that too. For those of you who don't know what Whip That Trick is, it's a song from Hustle and Flow. It's a film based in Memphis. Go Google it. We have more interview to do. So obviously that's a big element in the arena, and the fans certainly know what's going on, and they're on social media and they're already fired up because of how this series has gone. So we were talking before you came on. It was quite the scene in there last night.
So the fans